Hi, I'm Aparna Kapur. I used to work as an editor at Pratham Books, and I'm here to talk about a book that I worked on called I Wish, MERI ARZOO. And because this book was written and illustrated by a number of people, and I'll be talking about them, I just want to name them all. Um, Written by Vandana Devi, Kunal Rajpurohit, Deepak, Radhika, V. Shivya, Kajal Kumari, Kirtika, Sagar Lohave, Aryan G. Pavane, Lakshya, Gauri Rachalwar, Sunny, Riya, Sharvari Sonawani, Dhawan Chaudhary, and Arvind Karthik. Illustrated by Anjora Norona, Kanatu Jimo, Gitanjali Iyer, Habib Ali, Jayesh Sivan, Kanak Shashi, Lavanya Naidu, Manjari Chakravarti, Nancy Raj, Nidhin Shobhana, Nilofer Bhatia, Priya Kurian, Proiti Roy, Rajiv Aip, Roshni Vyam, and Somesh Kumar. Children's needs are important. Are they well looked after? Do they have food? Are they warm enough? But how often do we stop to think about what children want? What do children want? What are their deepest desires for the world, for the country, for themselves? As an editor and author of books for children, there's one glaring problem I'm constantly aware of. I am not a child. Childish, yes. But writing about childhood is automatically an act of remembering rather than experiencing. I will always be one degree away from what it means to be a child and can only guess what it means to be a child right now. That doesn't mean that all children's books should be written by children, of course. Authors can do beautiful things with language and storytelling in a way that opens up worlds for young readers. And the pleasure of reading the right book at the right time can have an effect that lasts a lifetime. Also, can you imagine editing a child? However, there is something to be said for the spirit and the ideas that children have. It is very rare for an adult to be able to capture them unless we listen. And that was the idea behind this book. When my inimitable colleague Bijal Vachirajani and I commissioned this book at Pratham Books, we wanted to hear what children had to say, what their ideal country looks like, what they would like the freedom to do, what they wanted to change. Initially, we struggled to boil everything we wanted to know down into one question. What does freedom mean to you? Seemed too narrow. What do you want to change? Maybe too complex. Ultimately, we chose something that was both simple and deep, both meaningful and light. The most important question of all, what do you wish for? At Pratham Books, we publish picture books. However, the publishing house was set up with one single, very clear goal, a book in every child's hand. Making books that are available and affordable to each and every child is something that powers all of our decision making. So it was important to us to be mindful of whom we were asking. We wanted to make sure that we could wade through some of the louder voices, more frequently heard, and listen to the voices that ring out as clearly, if a little softer. We're committed to the goal of giving every child the opportunity to see themselves in the books they read. Growing up, a lot of us didn't have that chance. And even though that's slowly changing, and Indian children, for instance, do now have a myriad books that represent them, there is still a long way to go before we can claim to represent all children. When we decided to step out of the way and let children literally do the talking in this book, we wanted to make sure we had a fair representation of the voices in our country. We went to schools in Kashmir and Rajasthan, in Villapuram and Wardha, schools for children with special needs, community libraries, and socially inclusive schools and training centers. The answers began to pour in, over 300 of them. We saw that so many children wanted what we expect every child wants: chocolate, the freedom from homework and scoldings. We got plenty of those. But there were also children whose wishes were to speak, to learn, to be treated fairly. It was both moving and incredibly disheartening to see how their desires were affected by community and society. Now that we had the words, the beautiful, earnest words, it was time for the pictures. We were clear from the beginning that we wanted to give both the space and the grandeur that these words warranted. We wanted the very best illustrators of the country bringing these wishes to life on the page. We wanted each wish to be able to spread its wings. So we wanted to give each of them a spread, a little page layout joke. Each of these desires was important and significant, and we wanted to work with someone who understood that. And that's why we approached Priya Kurian. With her, we carefully chose 16 of the wishes to put in the book. Priya is amongst the best illustrators and is fluent in the language of picture books in a way we can only dream of. She immediately understood the intent of the book and was beautifully able to, as art director, spearhead the illustrations in a way that made the illustrators create magic, made the words shine, and made us just sit back and squeal with delight. She chose brilliant illustrators, perfectly matched to the words. Manjari Chakravarti, creating a world without borders. Gitanjali Iyer, handing the world over to children. Roshni Vyam, picturing a place of respect and equality. Nilufar Wadia, giving the world a rainbow. As editors, our desire was to find out what we would hear when we made the space for children to talk. So here's a glimpse of the world that children want to see. A world of equality and justice. A world of freedom for everyone, human and non-human. A world of dance and of chocolate. A world with time to read and space to talk. A world where we can sing and breathe. It sounds like a pretty good world to me. Thank you.